everybody. Welcome in to the Backliners podcast. Aggro joined by BaRRaCCuDDa as per usual. And Barra, there's no reason to beat around the bush here, okay? You guys, you had a tough week at the office.
Yeah, we did.
So to speak. For context, if you've missed the SPL games up until this point, you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you can find your podcasts. The Renegades had a great game one up against Radiance today on Sunday. Game two, in my mind, I think you guys got away from your identity a little bit and what was causing you some success, and that happens. And you guys fixed it in the draft in game three. Got off to a red-hot start. I was looking forward to eating because I hadn't eaten before the first set. I knew I was off the second set, so I was like, yes, dude, I'm going to be able to eat soon. This is going to be great. And then that was about – okay, wait, I'll be honest with you. Let me tell you the story from my perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Mackenzie came up to me when I was at my desk, my dog, at around 16 minutes. And I was like, yeah, this game will be over soon enough. I'll pick her up and then I'll have her on my lap for when it comes out to me. She sat on my lap from minute 16 to minute 48. She sat there for a long time without getting bored. And then
you're welcome.
I put her down, and the game lasted another almost 20 minutes from that point. 63-minute game. First of all, how you feeling mentally? You know, you're locked in still. You're feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a roller coaster because you're like, it's fine. I don't really have to sweat it too much. Like, it's just a normal season game. And then whenever you actually are just like AFK in the brain, you're just sitting there, like it'll just pop in your mind like any of the misplays that you made or your team made, and you're like, dear God, like how did we actually lose that game? Like that is so embarrassing that thousands of people watched us do that. Like so many people watched that.
Yeah, Chad,
happen.
you know, like that moment in high school that you said that one thing that, like, sometimes when you're going to bed, you, like, think about it. Your brain's like, hey, remember this? And you're like, oh, my God, I can't believe I did that. Like, at least there weren't thousands of people likely watching. I'm a big believer in laughter as part of the healing, so hopefully you feel the same, John.
You have to kind of just laugh at yourself and laugh at your team. Not in the moment, but after by yourself, you just kind of have to like laugh off the pain, because if you sit there and dwell on it, it will destroy you. Because that's what happened last year, and it's just
a learning experience.
Dude.
You know, now you know.
Yeah, my mental state or my mental fortitude is way stronger this year because of how much of a beatdown that I received last year, and I think that's why right now I'm not really affected by it. Tonight, when I go to sleep. You know, I might not go to sleep tonight. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just so many misplays that we made and they made. I mean, they ended up winning the game, but they did not play well either. Both of us were just like kind of panicking in game. I mean, both teams, like in the game, I was like, what are they doing? And then several times they were probably like, what are they doing? Like,
yep.
Why are they making this play? And I was like, why are they doing this? Like, this is so bad. Like, and then that just kept happening for like 63 minutes.
That was unreal, man. I just like, I just didn't know what to say at some point. Like, not only is it 60 minutes long, but it's like, all I'm waiting to do is be like, well, who am I criticizing next? Because they just inted and threw the game. Like, I feel like I sprinkled them out to everyone. That set, because everyone at some point deserved it. I do want to ask, when you all die, except for Jake and Solo, I think. It was Jake and someone else was alive. It was when you were sieging solo side Phoenix, and then Jake walks into mid and ults to get the mid Phoenix. It wasn't until that point that I registered that in the game, what should have been the game-ending fight, Jake hadn't pressed his 4 button. How hard was it for you to keep mentally checked in at that point? Like I don't know if you heard me on the cast, but I was like, Jake has ult still? Like, what is happening? Like, I literally lost my mind because I couldn't believe that he still had ult.
Yeah. That is a very big me and Vin and Ro raging at Jake several times when he plays Fafnir that he will wait for a very, very, very long time to ult in some fights in particular. And that was like when I told you we banned him for playing Fafnir.
Yeah.
That was why.
Right.
Because there was a few fights, it was like first week that we played Fafnir, I think, and he just didn't press 4. And we were like, Jake, you have no buttons for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You have a button that gets all your buttons back up.
And they're better.
And they're better. And and he also never upgraded his 2 until like level 12.
Not today, right? Like,
no, not today. He's a new man.
Okay.
He still buffs himself sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
We're learning. We're new but learning.
Yeah, and I realized that in game, and I was like, just push it away. Like, they can go for the end. Like, please, God, in the game. Like, I don't know what's about to happen, but we just kind of threw, and I didn't focus on it at all. Like, it was in my head for like half a second, and then it was just like, okay, please end the game. Like, I believe in you guys. And then we actually could have ended the game there, but Jake didn't reset the Titan. He jumped in on the Titan again, instead of resetting it. Which, I mean, in the moment, like, I don't know how many players like jumping out, like, and resetting the Titan to like play around like your cooldowns, and then someone backed after that. I don't remember who it was.
Oh God, I don't remember either. I think adapting backed at some point.
I think adapting was first, and then there was someone else.
Yeah, and then Big Man backed because they left Cyclone to try and solo end. But he didn't have the damage.
And then I was that the time I flew out of base?
Yeah, you flew after him, and you were playing it real slow.
I really wanted to play it fast, but he had enough mana for 1 button. And if he presses his steroid, and I press all my buttons and dash into him, I think he had both his relics as well. I'm not 100% sure.
He didn't have one of them, but I think it was beads. I think he had Aegis, but no beads, if I remember correctly.
Because basically in my head, I was like, if he has enough mana for 1 steroid, if I dash in on him and he crits me, I already start Poison Start.
Right.
And then if he crits me again off of that, like if he gets 2 auto attacks and just pops a steroid on my dash, then I just get crit twice, and I'm down 800 there. And
you had relics,
I don't know,
though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my play is to like dash in an Aegis his steroid, like it's like I really like in the moment I was like I really want to go for this, and it took a lot of discipline for me not to just fly above him and just all in him and play it like it's a scrim.
Right, like play behind him.
Yeah, and we knew that Aurora was coming, I think. Aurora was there like 5 seconds later. I could have flown, like, if I fly to solo lane, he can cut through speed buff and go that way. So I end up flying low side and just chase him through the jungle whichever way he went. But then I think I missed 2 autos, and I think he missed 2 autos, and we kind of just traded evenly and just walked away. I don't even think he pressed a button either. I don't know if he used arrows or not. But I was like, if I crit him more than he crits me, or if I hit a lot more auto attacks, I'll just chase him down and win the fight. But I really, really, really wanted to just dive him. Like,
yeah, I was surprised you didn't, if only to just end the game one way or the other. You know, sometimes I think, like, at some point, I'm kind of surprised you didn't just be like, this game, you know, I'm going to end this game one way or the other. I'm going to lose this, and we're going to lose, and that's on me then. And I think that would just be, like, my mentality. Like, I almost just want to end it by making the play, or we can at least put the blame on me afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at that point, like, you've already made so many mistakes, and people are, like, beginning to be a little tilted in comms. Like, no one's, like, raging or anything.
You guys were only a little tilted at that point? You guys are mentally strong. That's impressive.
You could feel the tilt building.
Yeah.
It was just the little, like, the moments of silence were beginning to build more frequently.
Sure.
And people were beginning to be a little bit more angry in comms, a little more tiltable, a little bit. It was just like that thing just started to pop up more and more often.
One time on cast, I audibly sighed at some point. I forget exactly when it was. Maybe it was when Solo chased adapting down while you guys were doing fire.
Yeah, I mean, right after Solo died, he was like, oh my god, I inted. Like, why'd I do that? And then off of, like, I don't even think his death was that bad because he got Reginald and he got Cuckoo Blink. Like, we called off sieging Solo Phoenix there, which was so bad by us. Like, there was no reason for us not to go Solo Phoenix there, in my opinion. I don't know why we called that off in game.
You guys had gotten another pick, right? Like, I think it was Aurora was dead.
Aurora was dead.
Yeah, for a little bit. So you were sieging 4-on-4 with no Reginald.
And I think Cyclone might have, like, misclicked his ult or something because right when we got there, I got Rama shot. Like, and I was like, what is happening? I don't know if he was
doing that every fight. He was starting every fight by ulting Ven at the very beginning. Ven started every single fight like 40% health. And he was hitting everything. You got to give him credit. Little shades of Season 3 BaRRaCCuDDa out there, if I'd say so myself.
Maybe Ven should just be dodging better?
Yeah, Ven did. Okay, I did at one point.
I did
at one point see Ven gets sniped the opening shot. You guys are sieging Solo Phoenix, one of the 7 times you did. Ven gets sniped, and Ven's reaction was to then bomb Aurora and put himself, like, lock himself in place. And Cyclone literally just double shot him from there, and then Ven dashed, and I think that was the fight where you had to ult out, where Benji, like, got a really good blink off, insta-killed Ven. You had to ult out. Like, it was literally all because Ven bombed when he got ROM sniped.
I was wondering why Ven got so low in that fight. Because, like, once I ulted, I was like, dear God, we just lost the game. Like, I don't know what happened to Ven. I don't know what happened to me. Like, both of us are just dead.
I don't know what did so much damage to you right there, but it was Ven, I know, got sniped.
I might have gotten hit by the first shot. I'm not sure. Because I remember getting chased by Adapting as well, I think.
Well, Aurora had a lot of damage. You probably got Terra ulted. He had Divine and Deso, I'm pretty sure, by the end of that game. So he was like... Those Terra ults were like half healthing you at the very least.
Yeah. He almost soloed me under one Phoenix. I think it was Duo Phoenix. I don't know if it was that game in particular. Because I think he played Terra all 3 games.
Yeah, he played Terra all 3 games. I don't think it was that game, but because they didn't siege Phoenix until you guys were like all dead.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I don't know. That was crazy, dude. That Aurora ult was doing so much damage. Cyclone was like starting every single fight with Rom ult. Every single fight just started with it. But I feel like at that point, if you see the enemy's ADC like starting with ROM ult, like, isn't that just the guy we insta dive? Like, I don't know. Raijin makes it so hard to kill any backliner because he just does so much damage.
And their frontline, I think, kills our backline faster than our frontline kills their backline. So maybe we were talking about game 3. Game 3 was just... Those team fights, like, once we got to even, we had to play so much more intelligently in fights. Like, up until, like, 30 minutes, we were kind of just YOLOing and kind of going for, like, the over-aggressive plays just because we had a lead. And that's kind of just how we play. But once we got even, I was like, dear God, their team comp is terrifying because I cannot live the Terra ult. I can get one-shot by Hoombots.
Yep.
If I get Cuckoo blinked on, I... just have to dash the knockup or Aegis the knockup, because then if I don't do anything off the knockup, I die. And their team comp was really hard to play against in team fights. I mean, even then, we were still winning a few of the team fights because their front line a lot of times was overextending a little bit, or my front line would play it slow enough to where we could kill their front line and then come back. Oh yeah, there was one fight. There was one time we were chasing them up solo lane. It was 3 of them. Hoombots didn't have ult forever, and then Rama and Raijin were like pretty low mana. And me and then
Cyclone like rolled by your in lane by the blue, right? He kind of like rolled out.
Yeah, yeah, and we didn't have beads on me or Vin, and we didn't know when Adapting's ult was back up, and we didn't want to get one shot and just crit RNG. But I'm pretty sure we should have just YOLO'd. I mean, it's so hard to make that call in game because like if you YOLO. I think we were 3 squishy people into a crit ADC, so like if he gets a Wind Demon proc, like he's basically steroiding anyways.
Right.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we should have played that way more aggressive, and then I don't even remember game 2 or game 1, honestly. Like those were just like
game 1,
blurs.
Jake played Ymir and popped off.
He played so well.
And then Ven popped off that game too on Raijin. Those two like were popping, and Last had a good game as well. And game 2, Adapting got really far ahead. Last got really far behind. Adapting was playing Thor, and you guys like had a chance to win that game, but you didn't have beads and were on fire, and then you got one shot.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say, 10 seconds before that, I said hunt Thor.
Yeah. Well,
And
someone was hunting.
we were up there by their blue buff, and I said very loudly, hunt Thor, hunt Thor. And so, like, I assume my front line will let me know Thor's ulting.
Yeah, he had to have been in range to, like, be heard. Right?
I had nothing. There was nothing that was like Thor's ulting. My finger wasn't even on my Aegis key because I was so ready for the other people to engage on me, like their front line.
Right.
And I just get Thor darts, and I'm like, I think I audibly raged at something. I think I just let out like a noise or like I instant like stress relief.
Yeah, it probably scared you. Yeah, it jump scared you. I was gonna say, I'm surprised you didn't like. I don't know if I said it on the cast or not, but I was like, BaRRa really shouldn't die. Like, I know he doesn't have beads, but like, you had Jing ult, you had Aegis.
Yeah,
so,
I'd ult and Aegis.
So like, I'm surprised you didn't immune it, but yeah, if you didn't get the call.
There was also another time I played super aggro into Cyclone and left. It was one of the Heim games, and like I could have soloed him if I ulted.
Oh yeah,
it was game 1.
It was game 1.
If I trusted myself to the auto attack, I could have ulted. No, I think it was game 2 because I think that was the game where Adapting ran it. I think it was like level 5 or 6.
I was thinking of the fight where Jake came and like walled off his portal.
That was a different time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like I couldn't tell where your ult went. Like it went in a weird direction and like didn't hit at the time. Like
I closed my eyes.
Man, I hope this works. You know, fingers crossed, eyes closed. Like I don't know. It's just Heim, bro. That character is nuts. Okay, so now he's competitively viable. We saw him picked like almost every game. That character is nuts, right? Like he's got to be. I think that in team fights, I'm curious to see what you think about this. I think in team fights, Heim is the safest hunter in the game. I think he's safer than Jing. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'd say they're on the same level. I would say they're on the same playing field because sometimes in your ult you can just die because the post cast is like 3 years for some reason.
Yeah.
And I've died several times in Heim ult post cast because you're just like sitting there like, yeah,
I got him.
Don't know why it's taking so long to recover from this thing, but can't press anything.
Oh, right. BaRRaCCuDDa asking for Heim buffs, everybody. Interesting.
Yeah, that guy's terrible. I think if you have good 3 placement, which at this point all pro ADCs have good 3 placement and know when to aggressively use the 3 and when to defensively use the 3. Ulting in team fights is a little difficult sometimes. Because obviously you can just ult a frontliner and toodaloo, like I'll see you later.
Right.
And then sometimes, like when you're getting aggressed on, I think Heim ult's really hard to use. Because using it out of a fight and using it to escape feels really bad. I don't know if other ADCs feel that way, but every time I use Heim ult to get away, it just feels so bad in the team fight. Like,
sure,
that's like a potential like 1,000 damage that you're missing out on. But I guess you can't. I mean, you can't use it aggressively, right? Because if you use it aggressively, you'll most likely die in the postcast, or unless you have to like pre-3 them and then ult to that spot, and hopefully you hit them on the spot and then teleport out. Not saying Heim is a bad god by any means, but
that's pretty sick. I didn't think about that interaction. Yeah, that's a good way.
I've done it a few times. It feels pretty good. But it's very hard to do.
How many times I was losing my mind the other day when PK. You know what's crazy is that your throw today was, in my mind, equally as bad as PK's throw the other day, where they had the Afro Kali comp, and they were up like they only had one Phoenix. They were up like 9K or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that comp was just like so broken late game. Like there's no way that comp should ever lose late game. They had Khepri, Kali, Afro. Like how do you literally ever win a team fight late game against that comp? Sanguine found a way.
Sanguine found a way.
Yeah, that was PK versus Sanguine.
Sanguine found a way to win.
Yeah, Sanguine found a way to win those team fights. Like it was just like so. It was so crazy because Cuvo got one shot by Netrioid on Heim like 3 fights in a row. Like Netrioid. Okay, here's what I'll say. Netrioid played those fights absolutely perfectly, like literally perfectly. But if Cuvo plays not even perfectly, but like well, it wouldn't matter, and that's why that composition is so strong late game. And when we're talking, especially like for me on cast, when I'm like, this team should win with this fight or should win with this comp or whatever, obviously there's wiggle room to like for mistakes, but the floor for that composition should be so high, but they stomped right through it. They went to the basement, man. They found a way to go beyond the ground floor and get lower by just like.
Was that the game where Paul built defense on Afro?
Yeah,
or was
I
that
think
like last?
so. I think
he built like winged one and breastplate. I don't know if that was this week or last week.
Yeah, I think he did. And like, dude, Fred kept dying to Heim knockup, and it's like, man, if only there was some way. If only there was something in my kit, not even the bead that he had, by the way, but if only there was something in my kit that made me knockup immune, something like a giant AoE circle of damage that made me knockup immune and unable to die at the exact same time, then I could counterplay this Heimdall. But unfortunately, as Kali, I don't have that. Like, I don't know. I would just lose it. And it doesn't make sense because Fred is like so... Fred makes the most mechanical plays that, like, impress me. Almost always.
Yeah.
Like, he makes so impressive mechanical plays to me that, like, it just blew my mind. I kind of tilted.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting tilted on casting recently. Now's my therapy session. I don't know. I feel like...
sorry, I'll listen. I was going to talk, but, like...
Yeah, no. My turn now. Okay. I've been getting tilted on cast recently. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like everyone is getting so good that maybe my expectations are like going too high or something like that. But for some reason, I'm just like getting annoyed when I'm watching bad plays, and I gotta mentally reset, dude. I gotta hit the beach.
Define bad play.
Not even like.
Would you say, okay, say your example of Cubo blinking.
Sure.
Would you want him to blink to ult, blink stun ult, or just blink ult?
Blink ult. Okay, the first time it happens to you...
You realize how troll that would be? Cubo blink ult, Heim just threes away, and he's like, peace, dude.
Well, no, Heim didn't have beads, so if you blink ult 3, the ult doesn't have like that big of a windup, right? Or you could even pre-ult. Like if you don't
have like a decent windup, didn't it? Or like it's not like...
It's not,
right?
Yeah, it's not super. There is some post fire, I think. I don't know. I don't play that much Kali, but like you could even pre-ult and then
pre-ult then blink.
Yeah, dude. Why not? You need the knockup immunity.
No Kali player is ever pre-ulting and.
What do you mean, dude? Every Willix player in the SPL, every single Willix player in the SPL pre-ults before they blink now.
That's a different god. Okay, you're also doing that for a Hi-Rez proc, right?
Yeah,
and
but
also
like,
because they're also unreliable. Because if you just ult them in a team fight, you're still like, suck.
Suck. Cherry says he should have just bought Magi as Kali vs. Heim. That certainly works as well. Okay. But man,
that just
I don't
allows
know.
you to play it how you want, right? Like,
right. That gives you like that takes away their counterplay, I suppose. I don't know. I think I just need to like. I think it's quarantine, bro. I think it's poisoning my brain.
Yeah, because if like you're only watching Smite and you just expect every week to be like perfection, especially, I mean my example would be like players like Cyclone. I feel like Cyclone is at like half of his skill level right now.
Yeah,
I just feel like he should be so much better than he is. And their duo lane in particular, like I don't know why they're just playing the way that they are. I feel like they're so much better than they are.
Benji has played so poorly around ganks these last 2 weeks, like, or at least this week, like, Sam and Fine got super fed off of him. You guys got super fed off of him. That's, like, so uncharacteristic for him to like, get caught like that.
It might be, like, an online thing.
Maybe. I mean, that's certainly part of it, right? And that actually leads really well into the discussion that I wanted to go over today, because playoffs are coming up, and I wanted to talk about the difference between regular season play and like an event like MSI, but we can start with like online versus LAN. Obviously ping's a big deal, blah blah blah, but I feel like that mentality is like super different, right? It's like me. I mean, I can talk about it for me honestly, because I'm working from home from the office. Like it's so much harder for me to focus and like get locked into a game and like really feel like I'm seeing everything that I want to see from home, because like I spend all my time in this freaking chair, you know, like that's what I do. Like when I'm in the studio, when I'm a little bit too cold because like they put the AC on too high and like I'm grumpy because someone ate the last of my favorite like snack bar that we have there. Like that's when I cast my best, baby. Like that's when I'm locked in and I'm ready to go. Like it's I don't know, it's just hard mentally for me to get set. Do you guys feel the same way about playing?
100%. Atmosphere is a big part of, I would say, like try hardness, which sounds bad because everyone's trying as hard as they can. But when you actually play at LAN, your mental state's just different. I don't know why. It's just you're just more focused, I guess, or more aware of everything that's happening in game. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to like put it to a definition, but it's just I guess it's just more casual to play online and to play from your home, and like I don't have to move. I don't have to like unplug my mouse and keyboard, drive to a LAN setting. I don't get to see all my teammates, and we don't get to all like have like a pregame ritual and just kind of get together and hang out and just I guess like get in the zone there.
Yeah.
And also LAN games are just different. Like there's ranked, there's scrims, there's online like professional play, and then there's LAN. And then there's like worlds. Like
that is really funny that you went top to bottom there, by the way, because that makes it seem like ranked is the highest level of play you could possibly have. Then there's scrims, and I was like, okay, I thought you were gonna go like ranked, then scrims below that, then professional play above that. Like, you know, scrims being the lowest, of course, but
yeah, it's definitely different. Are the top. Oh, sorry, top.
Yeah, top for you, like the bottom for some reason. I don't know, like I think it's something about it's got to be. I mean, I'm sure there's like some actual science behind it because I know there have been studies and that kind of stuff about like how you sleep very differently when you're in your bed versus not in your bed. Like that's why even if you're somewhere comfortable, like a hotel, you still get worse sleep than you would in your own bed because your brain is like your brain is very used to your setting, but it has to be like attentive and locked in at all times, even when you're asleep in a different setting. And it's got to be the same at LAN, right? Like at LAN, your brain is kind of on high alert like all the time. It's built better, you know. It's doing the thing to like get more information to you, whereas at home you're like relaxed.
Yeah, it just feels more casual. I mean, it still feels like it just feels like a step or like 2 or 3 steps ahead of scrims, or like more try hard than scrims. I mean, everyone's still like super focused, but there's still like that missing piece of attention span. I don't know if it's attention. I don't know what it is. I don't know if other team or other pro players feel that way, but there's just something missing. I don't know if it's me thing or like a team thing or like just a pro player in general thing. But it just feels like I'm not 100% there.
Yeah.
But at LAN, I would be. I don't know. Maybe it's some brain chemistry thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid.
No, I think it is brain chemistry, for sure. I think, like, it's harder to get locked in. Sam for Soccer in the chat said that he agreed that online is just, like, way harder to get focused. Fine, okay. Also in the chat, flexing that he sleeps better in other people's beds, or he sleeps really well in other people's beds. Rub it in, man. I don't know. I got... proud of you, I suppose. So if that's like the LAN versus online difference, we don't necessarily have to break it down like LAN versus online event, but if you want to, you certainly can. Like how different is for you, especially when it's in the same place. Like obviously having to travel, that brings another level of hype and that kind of stuff, but like MSI in studio, or in this case like MSI in your bedroom, how different does that feel to play in? Do you feel like it has more like gravitas at all? Do you feel any more pressure?
What? MSI is in my bedroom.
Hey man, that's what's happening. If you guys win next week and E United lose, then it'll be MSI in your bedroom or whatever, you know, your office. For me, it's my bedroom. I'm going to be casting MSI from my spare bedroom.
I think playing playoffs would just not feel as real, I guess, if I was playing at playoffs. It just wouldn't feel as real / official. It would just feel like I happen to be playing my online matches for money. Like that, I think that would be the only difference for me, is just there might be some money on the line, and which I think for all my teammates would kind of just be like a day like just as usual as everything else. Like yeah, I think it would just feel completely normal. I think it would kind of take away a lot of the tournament experience, and just the overall feel and overall hype from it from a pro player's perspective. But I feel like viewers would still get like hyped about it, but I feel like as a pro player, it just wouldn't feel like as official and feel as real,
Yeah.
I guess.
What about in
But
studio, like last season's MSI?
I don't think I was there.
Oh, you definitely weren't there. No, I shouldn't have asked that. All right, well, you've been you've been MSI before, like a spring final or something like that. You've been to things like that in the past. Like, how different? World's obviously its own thing. Like, World's very different. I'm talking about
like the little lands.
Yeah,
like
the little lands.
Those were always a ton of fun. Like at the old studios where you guys had like the
black curtains.
Yeah, the black curtains with like it was like 40 office chairs, or not office chairs, but whatever those like fold out chairs are, whatever those called.
Yeah, those things. Oh man, you're talking about that setup, dude.
Yeah, and then there was the one after that with the I would say like stands. Are they called stands?
Yeah, no. Like... Bleachers were first. The bleachers were first.
Okay, yeah.
Since I've worked at Hi-Rez, by the way, chat, I got here the summer of season 3 was when I started casting. I think the studio, the LAN studio, has gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say 5 changes. I want to say 5. Yeah, at least for us as casters. I think for you guys playing, we had the bleacher setup, which when I think of, okay, so I've got like iconic moments from all of them in my mind. The bleacher setup that for you fans at home, end of season 3 was the bleacher setup, and I call it that because the stages were next to each other, facing out. They weren't facing against each other. And we basically built out like bleachers, and there were like some bean bags, that kind of stuff. It was very comfy, very easy to fall asleep in there for sure. And you would remember them best from the super regionals that year. That was the year where Trix and Orbit choked really bad, didn't make it to Worlds. Where Eager did make it to Worlds, and Aurora tackled Zap behind the stages. I think of that LAN for sure whenever I think of that setup. And then the next one was we put the teams playing against one another, like in the same room. Horrible setup. Because it was so easy to hear what each other were saying. You were talking direct, and it was like not a lot of space. There was exactly enough space for like one person to be able to walk in between the booths and get like camera shots of people, which was right up in your face, like super awkward, I'm sure, for all the players.
Yep.
And I think of the Xbox LAN there, where Soar choked away against the second seed EU team that was awful, man. They were so bad. And Soar choked away Worlds and sent Myth there, I believe. That was season 4, and that was Inbound's team, and they eventually won Worlds because Sword choked away the easiest game. They literally just had to beat this team that could like never win, and then the team won. It was incredible. And then after that, I think we kept that setup for a little bit.
We did too.
I think we kept that setup for a little bit, and then we switched to. We brought it more like the studio setups were a little bit more like in towards where we were casting, I think. But then they tore that apart before anyone played in it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's been a lot of changes. Anyways.
I just remember the biggest ones, which are the ones you went over, and it was just such a treat to go to LAN and just like see everyone.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was like still relatively new to like see everyone and just like hang out with them and just talk Smite. And it was just so cool to like sit with other people that you normally don't talk to on a daily basis and like just watch the games together on the giant screen. And can't really do that anymore, unfortunately, with the new setup. But it still feels like, back then, it just felt so cool to like just hang out with everyone and just be friends.
Yeah, that was so much fun, man.
Hmm.
Those early days for sure, and I still have an absolute blast now. But the one, I think, really the only disadvantage of having everyone move here and be at LAN is that you lose a little bit of that, like, oh man, we're all together, because now we're like
Hmm.
all together all the time, which would matter a lot if we weren't quarantining.
Hmm.
But yeah, so for those little LANs, like for the pressure or something like that, like,
Oh, yeah.
did it feel any different to play in those, or was it just like, hey, I'm super stoked to see everybody, and then that's it?
The ones that were just for money were never really like a big deal to me. It felt really cool to play at LAN and felt really cool to be in front of everyone and to hang out with everyone. But pressure wise, it didn't really feel crazy or stressful or anything. Like I would always get nervous. I still always get nervous for every game. Once I get in the game, I'm fine. But super regionals and qualifying for worlds is always the most stressful point of the year.
Yes,
Always.
always.
You are literally constantly thinking about Smite. The entire day is Smite for like a month and a half to 2 months, depending on the year. Like how many games we need to win to qualify for Worlds, or what stakes we are at, or what mental state our team's at, like what we need to do to prep ourselves for Worlds. And every time there was a Super Regionals LAN, it was so stressful. Just, especially like, there was one time season 2 against Eager. I think that went to 5 games. I don't know. I think our season 3 we qualified. Yeah, season 3 was we qualified through Orbit,
Yep.
and I don't remember season 1. I think season 1 we auto qualified, right?
Season 1, I think there was a Super Regionals LAN, I want to say. Yeah, there. No, I'm thinking of season 2. I think there was still one season 1, but I can't exactly remember. I wasn't working then. I was just a fan watching, but I do remember going to. Shout out to my friends T Small and Candyman. I drove to their apartment that they had at Kent State University, because that's where they went to college, and we watched you guys win Worlds, and we were pogging off the whole time. That was just a lot of fun. It was a good time. I was gonna say something. No, I can't remember. Go ahead.
I just remember the COG Red set, because even during
Dude,
game 1,
we were
I
so
think we
sure
lost
COG
game
Red
1.
was gonna win. We were so sure. I was
Yeah.
so sure COG Red was gonna win.
We were so sure that they weren't gonna win. in the set, like each game just got progressively easier, and we could tell that they weren't playing at their best for whatever reason. I still think COG Red should have won that Worlds if they were playing at their peak.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, at that Worlds, they were just not playing that well. Which happens to every team. Like every team just goes through like ups and downs for whatever reason. It's so weird. Why do teams do that? Like,
because thinking is hard and emotional.
it's like a team-wide thing.
Yeah.
Like,
it is.
like I mean, you could say like Radiance is going through it right now. Like a team-wide, like just not performing that well. It's so weird. Like it's not like one player. It's just I feel like their whole team is just not playing up to their par and not playing up to where they should be.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for fans to like understand, is that winning Worlds does not mean you were the best team that year necessarily.
Yeah,
it means you were the best team
right?
that weekend. Yeah, exactly. SK was not the best team last year.
Yeah,
they were the best team that weekend, and that means they earned it. Like it doesn't matter if anyone else says otherwise. They earned it. They were the best team that weekend, and that's what makes Worlds so sick. Like I don't know, the League of Legends Worlds format and that kind of stuff, where it's like, okay, you play here, and then you wait a month and you go to the next stage, and like all this kind of stuff. I'm like, that takes away from the drama a little bit, doesn't it? Like, that it's all at once.
And I'm just still so confused as to why it seems like the entire team just plays better sometimes. Like, just entire teams will just step up or step down for no reason, it seems. And it's all at the same time.
I don't know.
Like,
if you figure it out, John, you're gonna make a lot of money in the sports world. I can tell you that much.
Does that happen to a sports team as well? Because I don't really watch sports that much.
All the time in sports, yeah. Especially, it's easier to see, I think, in sports that have smaller team sizes, like the NBA. It's easier to see in basketball and that kind of stuff. By the way, for those of you listening, BaRRaCCuDDa cat, that's Luna, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is popping off right now, just running
She's
back and
gassed
forth.
up right now.
She is stoked. But she's running all over the place, meowing up a storm. But like in the NFL, like that's 52 men on a team. Like it's kind of hard to you'll see individual breakdowns happen really, really frequently, but I feel like it spreads less in football, which is interesting. I don't know. That's actually a good thought. I want to follow up on that and look into that a little bit. Unfortunately, we are getting close to running out of time. So go ahead and finish your thought, and then we got to go over the most important part of the show.
I was going to say for us, it happened in COG Prime and LG for us, Season 1, Season 3, that we just played way better. At Worlds, we just played way better for some reason.
Yeah,
you can go on.
Does it feel like, okay, so you knew you were playing really well Season 3, like all the whole Worlds. But did you know that you were going to keep playing well? Like, I imagine at the end of the set, you go, wow, we played really sick. God, I hope we do that again. But I have no idea if it's going to happen. Like, it doesn't feel like it's up to you. You know what I mean?
It just happens before the game starts.
You think so? You can tell?
Yeah. Like, even, I would say, like, our Game 3 against Radiance, like, loading in, like, I mean, we still lost, we threw, like, and did a lot of stupid plays, but the first 20 minutes was just so much confidence and so much power by us, and it just felt so good. And then the same thing happened in Game 2 against PK, where Vin was just, like, on top of it. Like, he was just popping off, and like I think he soloed Paul and was just playing like super confidently. Like everyone was just playing super confidently. It's so nice to see those moments in a new team of just everyone just gassed up and just focused and playing really well. I mean, we're still making a lot of mistakes, but
hey, that's
let me throw this hair tie real quick.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. She's gonna love that.
Okay.
Have you ever been wrong? Have you ever felt like, yes, this is gonna be sick, and then it just goes all wrong?
Season 2. Game 5.
Yep, when Yaman rotated over and quadra killed you guys.
Yeah. Well, that happened Game 1, but we ended up winning that game.
Oh, was that Game 1? I thought that was Game 5 for some reason.
Oh no, Game 1. No, Game 5 we got double killed in mid.
That's right. That's what it was.
We were Neath mid, and then I still got roasted for going Hunters mid in like Season 3 when we told Xeno to go Izanami mid.
Right.
And everyone was like, "Oh, why'd you pick a Hunter mid? Like that's so stupid." And then I just wanted to be like, we were supposed to play like an hourglass on the map. Like Izanami, like back then it was like Izanami pressures mid, she insta-goes mid wave, and we just invade buffs. Like through that way. We go through the pressure, and then we just kept getting solo lane.
Yep.
Forever. So we just let the Izanami like on island or whatever, and just kind of let Xeno do whatever he wanted.
I will say that I know exactly the feeling because I didn't play that many LAN games during my playing career, but I do in our qualification to get to Worlds Season 2, it was MLG Columbus. I was on Elevate. It was me, BaRRaCCuDDa, Chapo, Uzzy, and a guy named Catalyst. It was Puka. It was still Puka Bear at the time. Holy God. We went to Worlds with Catalyst because we dropped Puka afterwards.
That's toxic.
Listen, man, it's a business. You know how it goes. We're going up against Paul's team. It was Shing, Paul, Freya, Soup Kitchen, and I forget their fifth. I can't remember who was playing support at the time. Maybe Freya was, but either way, we knew we were going to be good. We came in, we stomped our first round matchup. Maybe this was one. We just like knew we needed to win it. I don't remember exactly, but we stomped Game 1. We're feeling really good. We lose Game 2 in a close one, and then Game 3 I had that exact same feeling. Like I just was so full of confidence. I knew we were gonna win. I knew we were better, and we had been the only team practicing Raw Mercury at that time. Season 2 on Xbox, no one played Raw. No one, because no one was hitting it. But we figured out that if Chapo just throws them at me, I can hit it. And no team could play around sustain at all because no one knew how to play against healers at that time. So I was like, okay, we've been practicing it. We kept it super secret. Let's pull it out here. And I look at Andy and I go, all right, let's just pick Raw Merc. And they beat us Game 2 with Sobeka Willix. That was like the meta at that time. Remember Sobeka Willix was like huge in Season 2? They beat us with Sobeka Willix. And Andy was like, no, bro, we need to pick Sobeka Willix. We're going to win with that. And we haven't practiced it once. Chach, I love that guy to death. was not mechanically good enough to be playing Sobek at that time. Okay, we hadn't practiced it once. We never played with the Willix. We never played Chach on Sobek. We sucked Chach on Khepri every game because it was just unmissable. And Chapo looked at me in my eyes. I'll never forget this moment. He looked at me in my eyes and he goes, "If you pick me a Willix here, I will carry this game for us." And at that point, I can't say no, right? Like I can't tell him that I don't believe in him. So we say yes.
Oh, God.
We pick a Willix Sobek. Chach misses every pluck that game. Andy misses his Willix, pulls off Sobek 2s because he doesn't know the timing. Uzzy gets soloed by Soup Kitchen Wave 1, and we lost. And that team got a bye to the finals because they played against the EU team, and they played against Envy in the finals and made like 20K a player or something like that. And we had to play against Envy in the open bracket because of it. And it haunts me to this very day, if you couldn't tell.
That is very hard. I've been in that situation several times where a teammate, like, you know what you should pick and ban, or your gut is just like leading you in one direction so hard.
Yep.
And then their gut's leading them in the exact opposite direction, and you're like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, no one wants to be that guy and pick some bans. Just like, no, trust me. And then you're both being the no trust me guy.
Yep.
And one of you, it just says, okay, you take the reins, I'll trust you. And listen, then, like, man, either way, like...
So hard. It's a no-win situation. I regret it very much. But if I were to go back and do it again, I would do it again. Because it's just the right decision. You just got to trust your teammate. Chapo is our best player. You got to give him the ball. That's what you got to do. Okay, before we go, we're already a little bit over time, but this is, I'll repeat at the end, but we will not have an episode next week because I am going on vacation to the beach so that I can be less tilted. And so I won't be here, but we will have one for post-playoffs and all that kind of stuff. BaRRa, I've been doing a lot of snacking recently in podcasts. I read something from chat. In quarantine. And during podcasts. You guys just don't see me sneaking away some snacks. Give me some of your favorite snacks. You know, it's late at night, you're hungry, your tummy's grumbling a little bit, you're going to the pantry. What are you hoping to find?
So I'm not a snacking guy, but one of my weirdest things that I will eat is just grits and oatmeal.
What?
Okay, I'm going to the pantry late at night, and there is like 2 things of oatmeal, like cinnamon oatmeal. Dog, it'll fill you up, and you will feel great. I promise.
Dude, unbelievable.
Okay, and then for unhealthy snacks, well, not that oatmeal prepackaged, whatever, is healthy. But for unhealthy, it's Nerds Rope. I will go to town on like 10 Nerds Ropes if they're in front of me. Like, I cannot contain myself. And my dentist has told me several times, do not eat any candy like that. And if there's a Nerds Rope in front of me, I will just devour Nerds Rope. And then back to healthy snacks, apples and bananas.
Okay.
So any of those, it's in my snacking realm of I go to the pantry, I go outside the bedroom, and any of those I'm very happy to find.
Okay. All right, great. I should have known that. Maybe we should, I don't know if I should let you lead and get everyone upset and then I like bring them back down to earth, or if I should lead, like, whatever.
Okay, Destiny's just lying. I've made my own oatmeal several times.
Multiple times. At least no less than 3 times have I made my own oatmeal. Destiny, BaRRa's girlfriend, also says, this man will eat 1 whole loaf of bread as a snack.
That is true.
Listen, sometimes I'll be like, hey, Joe, are you hungry? And she'll be like, no. I'll be like, okay, I'll grab a snack before dinner then. I'll eat like a full meal worth of food. And then she'll be like, aren't you going to be full? And I'm like, no. What do you mean? This is just the pre-dinner snack. Okay. Healthy snacks. You mentioned one of mine. I love apples, but I like cutting them up and putting peanut butter on them. Apples and peanut butter. S tier. S tier snack. Little fatty, but very healthy. Delicious. You'll be feeling good about yourself afterwards. A little bit sticky though on the fingers, I will say. You got to be worried about that.
What?
Like your fingers get sticky from the apple, from like the sugar in the apple juice.
I have never had that happen.
You're telling me if you slice up an apple, your fingers don't get sticky from grabbing them?
Never.
You're superhuman. Okay, whatever, man. Can't argue with this. What do you?
I'm sorry.
This is like my fiance telling me that milk doesn't have a smell. Like, how am I supposed to counterplay this? There's no counterplay. It just does have a smell. Like, I don't know. There's nothing else I can say. Anyways.
That's a normal thing that apples are sticky?
Yes, they're sugary. Like they've got sugar, and so it get among chips. Okay, I'm a big chips guy. I love eating chips at all times. I've been to F.Dot's Chip Emporium many times, referencing the famous picture. Recently, the Cape Cod sweet and spicy jalapeno chips, delicious. Kettle cooked, I'm in. But among chips. Get away from barbecue chips, all right, man? They just aren't good enough. We're talking salt and vinegar, we're talking sour cream and onion, and we're talking something spicy. I've been really into the spicy chips recently, but also I do like sourdough pretzels as well. Sourdough pretzels is good.
I go through phases where I love pretzels, and then I will just not eat pretzels for like 5 years.
Dude, they're so good, and they have no fat, bro. Pretzels have no fat. Did you know that? That's an OP factor.
No,
or very low fat. Like in comparison to chips, that's all I'm saying. Pretzels
I'm not a big chip guy. Like I never go like and just eat chips. I just don't.
Ooh, Nihiler in the chat says fat greater than sugar. That kind of, it's like savory versus like sweet. Are you a guy who craves something sweet then, if you're not a big fan of like the saltiness?
Sometimes. I don't know if you're asking me or that guy, but
Yeah,
sometimes me and Destiny have been going through a cheesecake kick. I don't know if Destiny will include herself, but I have been going through a cheesecake kick. So sometimes late at night, I will go to my freezer and get a little slice of frozen cheesecake. Frozen cheesecake, much better than refrigerated cheesecake, by the way. In case anyone has never had a frozen cheesecake slice before, way better.
Okay.
Just trust me. Just trust me.
Ooh, kettle cooked salt and pepper chips. That's a great answer for sure. I love salt and pepper chips. Those are really good. Okay, that's gonna do it for the podcast this week, everybody. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As per usual, as I mentioned, no episode next week. But we will be having one whenever playoffs conclude, so we should have some really good talk then. Destiny defends herself and says, I have one piece, and John eats the rest of it, so John maybe be a little bit more selfless with that cheesecake.
It's so good, man. Publix makes the greatest cheesecakes, by the way, so if you have a Publix near you, chat, go get a bakery cheesecake out of the freezer or refrigerator that they have and just toss it in your freezer. And
put it in your freezer. Right. That's the way to do it, I guess. Make sure you guys are subscribed to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're part of the Predictions podcast network. They've got a lot of great podcasts covering a whole wide range of esports. So I'm sure you'll be able to find something else that you watch and enjoy on there. So please give us a rating, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching as per usual. And we'll be seeing you in a little bit. We'll miss you. Bye.
Bye.